Is there any sign particularly that you want to start with as far as shadow sides?
Well, let's start with mine.
Let's do it.
Libra.
Okay.
I think starting a relationship with a Libra, as me being an Aries, there are some helpful tools that you can utilize because technically speaking, Aries are more self-absorbed, and the Libra just happens to be more of a we-oriented sign at its core. So you can extract learning how to be more we-oriented as an Aries, and also you can teach the Libra how to be a little bit more self-centered if need be, depending on their level of dependency. Doesn't necessarily constitute that they will actually be long-term. It just means that you can extract what you need and you can take that psychology to another sign if necessary.
Interesting. I myself have dealt with Libras, both male and females, and I definitely, I just want to make this clear. Not all Libras or not all zodiac signs are going to have this particular shadow side. However, this is just informational video that you guys should know, especially because we do specialize in astrology. I've dealt with Libras, so I'm saying this out of experience, my Libras, and I love you very much. You're expert manipulators, and that's one thing about both, I feel, both feminine and masculine energies. They could be pretty much, they could get inside your head and manipulate and twist words and thoughts around, and you won't even know what happened. But, for the most part, someone like me might want to, combat that thought or that energy, that shadow side that's coming from Libra particularly. But I've been in situations before where Libras can be very manipulative, and I'm treading lightly, and that's been my experiences with Libras in relationships.
Yeah, because the Libra understands the essence of flirtatiousness and the essence of playing coy or playing like stupid. When in fact they are the exact opposite. They're borderline geniuses, but they will play that way because they are gifted with natural beauty or some type of beauty in some way where you just at all with them. So they can play that way and get things done. They don't necessarily have to bring aggression. They'll let other signs be aggressive initially. If there's a need for aggression, they can step up to the plate more verbally than physically. They will use manipulation tactics verbally to get what they want, but they have different stages in how they do things.
Understood. All right, well, let's talk about the polar opposite then, Aries. What shadow sides can you say about Aries?
Well, the Aries, he or she is operate on a very aggressive level, but not aggressive in the sense of consciousness. It's more aggression in the sense of self-absorbedness due to the fact that it has a very I-oriented mentality. The Aries wants to come first, and its needs don't really matter to other people. And it operates off that for a very long time. But that's what's misunderstood. It's not selfish in the sense of I matter and you don't. It's selfish in the sense of the needs of what a baby might want. I need what I need. I need what I need. It's not so much ego-based as people think it is, because Aries are the babies. And babies are an extension of the mother. So the Aries ego doesn't even exist. Its ego exists from the mother, not from itself. So when you understand that, you understand Aries a little bit better. Babies.
Yeah. Well, thank you for putting the psychology behind that energy. But yes, absolutely. I definitely feel Aries can be self-absorbed. Interestingly enough,
Even me?
yeah.
I love it.
But that's okay, because I feel like an Aries may need to be with someone that's always nurturing. So I feel like someone that's nurturing may work out for an Aries. Am I wrong about that?
Yes, you're not
Okay.
wrong. You're not wrong at all. If you operate off a baby energy, you're gonna need a motherly love type of woman, to subdue that and be more patient. If you're not a motherly type of person, you're really not gonna be able to handle Aries. You really can't match an Aries, you know, you know, tat for tat, tit for tat. It's not gonna work that way, because they'll look at the challenge as a challenge. But if you can subdue, water signs are very good dealing with Aries, believe it or not, because the water sign kind of lets you flow into their realm, and then they wash you down and water you down a little bit. That fire needs a little bit of water.
So
But-
you feel like an Aries need to be with someone with a strong water placement, or they need to operate with someone that has a sun sign water placement?
That can help too. I think that the Aries water sign may be a good lesson for him, but I think that he could wear them out with his intensity. I think that Aries needs a water sign when he's younger, or between 20s and 30s. But then he might want to move something more intellectual as he progresses into his evolutionary, because what happens is he can be a lot. He or she can put a lot of work on the mind of a water sign who just wants to nurture. It can be wear and tear a little bit for the water sign. But as he progresses, Aquarius would do well. Gemini can do fairly well. It's the same sun sign. Leo or Sag can do well because they'll understand each other's level of self-absorption, but won't take it personal.
Okay. Well, let's move on to a fixed sign. Scorpio. Shadow side of Scorpio. I personally feel Scorpios can also be self-absorbed, and even though they're a water sign, they can be very self-absorbed. Not all Scorpios, I guess it depends. But what do I mean by self-absorbed? Scorpios have the potential to really be a very powerful sign, and they are a very powerful sign. But for some reason, I just feel like Scorpios can be more teamwork. Bingo. Like when it comes to teamwork, they're not really good at that. So that's kind of a shadow side in my opinion. So I didn't mean to say self-absorbed, but self-absorbed meaning I'm a Scorpio, so I do this subconsciously. I don't really like teamwork. For me, if somebody says you need to be in a team, that's fine. But when it comes to a one-to-one relationship, one-on-one relationship with a partner, my teamwork kind of gets a little diluted. So I feel like I need to do everything myself. So if I need the job to be done well, I need to do it myself. Where I just feel like that's a shadow side when it comes to a partnership.
Well, see when you operate off that frequency, that's more about the ability to control, because you feel nobody can do it the way you can do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want you to partake, because I can get it done. And because you operate from fixation, emotional fixation as a water sign, you add conviction to it. Mm-hmm. Whereas me as an Aries, I'm a natural leader, so I'm going to delegate that responsibility to somebody else. I really don't care if you know I can do it or not. I'd rather have somebody do it for me. I'm comfortable with that level of a hierarchy of leadership, whereas you feel, not you may necessarily personally, but as a Scorpio energy, is if you want something done, do it yourself. My mentality is if you want something done, hire somebody to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about the polar opposite, Taurus.
Taurus.
Yes. What do you feel about the shadow side of Taurus?
I think Taurus is the punch you don't see coming. You know, even in you notice about Taurus, you don't even see that many you don't even see that many jokes about them, and like you always see Scorpio jokes, Aries jokes, Gemini jokes, Leo jokes. You don't really see too many Taurus jokes. Taurus.
They're too serious.
Yeah. Taurus is fixed Earth though. We need Taurus. Taurus have to be serious. They're grounded. They are the beginning stage of identity.
Yeah.
Well, the Aries doesn't have any identity. The Taurus begins to understand identity. So how it plays as far as that's concerned, when you look at Taurus and you look at Scorpio, you're looking at a lot of similarities as far as privacy, as far as being underground, as far as even some levels of stubbornness, because they both fixed signs. I think the difference is the Taurus moves a little bit slower than the Scorpio moves as far as getting things done. The Taurus takes their time, but when they decide to do it, you can't stop them. You can't stop them because they're still fearless. They're still young in spirit. The second sign of Zodiac. They're still young. They will commit themselves.
But I the stubbornness part, Riley, in a relationship is to me the biggest shadow side for Taurus. They're more stubborn than any other fixed sign, more than Aquarius, more than Leo, more than Scorpio, and that plays into their like narcissistic behavior, I feel. Well,
because they are the original me's.
Yes.
From a self-identity perspective.
Yeah.
So what happens is when the Scorpio, even though the Scorpio is fixed from an emotional perspective, the Scorpio, if they trust you, they'll let you in. The Taurus will let you in too, but it has to me first mentality. Please me first. Please me first. The Scorpio is proved to me that I should please you first. Whereas the Taurus is get to know me so you can please me first. But I'm loyal though.
Yeah.
But I'm loyal to the T.
Yeah.
Scorpio may dip a little bit depending on.
Dip how?
Scorpios can cheat. Scorpios can cheat and very good at it too. But now the difference is the Scorpio will cheat if vengefully. If you spite them, they'll get you back. I wouldn't say they're cheaters in the sense of they'll go ahead and just cheat, but because they love sex so much, they may be able to rationalize sex with somebody else just from having that desire. But at the same time, Scorpio, you have to they don't just open to anybody, so they're not just gonna be like cheaters, but they'll have a plan B that you'll have to know about. Okay.
All right, so mutable sign.
Okay, mutable.
Gemini. Let me start. You are all over the place. And again, I'll repeat. We're just talking about shadow sides and how this may play out in a relationship. But I've been with Geminis. Moons, specifically Gemini moons, and I've also known Sun in Geminis. It's so you can't grasp them. I just feel that
chasing raindrops.
Yes, it's like chasing raindrops. Just when you think you know them, or just when you think you and them may have the same goal or vision, they do a left turn, and you're like, well, I thought this was clear, but perhaps I should have been a little bit more clearer. Why is that? What can you say?
Well, I always say when you look at the Gemini, you gotta look at mutation. You know, look at mutation. What does mutation mean? What is it to mutate?
It's change.
You know, mutate is it's taking something from its original state and making more of the same thing. So when you're dealing with the Gemini, you're dealing with more than one energy in the same physical body. You know, on the physical realm of Earth. So I don't even want to get into that yet. That's a whole other conversation. So the Gemini's intellectualness, intellectual prowess, I should say, on the physical plane is the fact that it's air. But air is on different planes. Air's in the sky. It's all over. So you can't limit a Gemini to their brilliance. You have to, you know, I posted on my social media today about them today. I was like, you have to kind of let them do their thing, and be built for it. You don't want to subdue their natural intelligence, because it's necessary. It just needs to be contained to where it can be a little bit more beneficial to all parties involved. Because it just spitting out theories and spitting out information and doesn't have doesn't have any base or foundation, it can be misconstrued and misunderstood.
What's a good pair? What's another good zodiac pair for, should it be another air sign for Geminis? I don't.
Yes, but you know, air sign would work, of course. But at the same time, the reason why the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius is because the Sagittarius is trying to get a grasp on information that is attainable and applicable, which is the opposite of Gemini, which is information that is all over the place. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have a certain. It's like rain, you know. Sagittarius is more grounded in that aspect. So the information that they have can be used and be applied to something. It's more filtered differently. So I would say that a Gemini would work well with Aries, coincidentally, because the Aries will teach, you know, that Gemini, listen. You're all over the place. Sit your ass down. We're gonna do it this way. I know you're smart. We get it. Beautiful. But you're all over the place. Let me guide you. Let me show you how to do it right.
Yeah, and then I also agree Sagittarius as well, which is the polar opposite as far as compatibility, because I guess that's like also like some type of mentorship. It's the same as Aries will mentor a Gemini. I feel like also, like you said, Gemini, the Sagittarius.
Right.
What do you think? Am I saying?
No,
Aries?
you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I think the and the Aries and Gemini. I mean, the Aries and the Sagittarius, they tend to are comfortable with change.
Right. Correct.
You know, so they won't get bored. Gemini is like a cop. They hate being bored. They gotta find action. You know, Gemini's constant stimulation.
Yeah.
They need it. They need it.
Yeah.
The smarter you are, the more the more she gonna love you.
I wonder what's the incompatibility for a Gemini then.
Probably be something that's a little bit more, maybe like a Taurus or a Cancer, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's too grounded.
Correct.
You know, grounded air signs are very simple. They deal with simple 1 and 1 is 2. Gemini's 1 and 1 is 2 times what divided by, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Perpetuity plus, you know what I'm saying? But it's just there. So that can drive somebody crazy. Listen, if you simple and basic, no deal.
So Sagittarius. Polar opposite of Gemini.
Well, the Sagittarius, you know, they fun. The Sagittarius, you know, the Sagittarius is fun. You know what I'm saying? They like to be isolated to a degree, but when they pop out, they can pop out and have a great time, and then pop back out into the isolation mode. So they're very hard to kind of like understand. They can be very, very confusing because they operate off some level of impulse, but some level of contemplation, and they find a way to make it work simultaneously.
I think that's that impulsiveness of Sagittarius. I think it may have to do with them being a fire sign, but I do find Sagittarius to be very impulsive at times. But I feel like they're honest about their impulsiveness behavior, right? Like I just needed to do it. I don't know. That's how I felt.
I needed to do it, and so what? I did it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And what?
I did it. I did it.
Do you
have
have a problem with that?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna sit up there and defend too much. I wanted to see how it is. I was curious, and I did it. It's over with. I'm not gonna do it again. Or I am gonna do it again. And I'm letting you know. You know, you have to really like. But you know, me being a fire sign, and I've dealt with Sags and I've dealt with them numerous times. I've noticed the more space that I give them, the more they come forward. Because I'm not constricting them. And when the Sag is into you, they're really into you. You know, as I mentioned to you before on the last sun signs, but when they leave your ass, they're going to leave you. You know?
Yeah. Cancer. So Cancer, cardinal sign. I love Cancers.
Me too.
They, you know, they could really, for someone like me and Riley, who could pretty much need direction once in a while. We need Cancers in our lives. We need some Cancerians in our lives.
See how Scorpio gonna sit here and tell me, right? I need direction out of nowhere. It's whatever, man. Go ahead.
What I love about Cancerians is that they can be pretty nurturing, both males and females. But the shadow side, because that's what we're talking about, the shadow side can be moody, all like 5 moods in one day. You will find a Cancer, like in the morning, feeling, you know, maybe a little under the weather and depressed and not talking to you and not really expressing. By lunchtime, they could be talkative, you know, offering you lunch. By dinner time, it's, you know, they want to be secluded. So the solitude with Cancerians and the moodiness is the shadow side, I feel.
But you know what?
What?
Think about this though. Cancer energy is the nurturing energy, right? And to be a master nurturer, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
If I can only nurture you in one aspect, that means I'm limited to my ability to maximize what I can do for you. The complexity of the human mind is too vast to be able to nurture from one aspect. So even though they are moody, it's necessary to have those moods to be able to adjust and to adapt to what's necessary in their surroundings.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, it's a cardinal sign. It represents change, the ability to change. You know, I think cardinal sign for Cancer is the beginning of summer. So, you know, it's a shift.
Yeah.
And very, very important. But I understand what you're saying as far as the moods are so vast and so frequent that how do you deal? But you see what's crazy about that?
How do you deal?
I'm going to tell you.
Unless you're like another water sign and get them, or you're an air sign, I don't care.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what you do. I'm gonna share my secrets with you.
Tell us.
All right. I just mentioned before that as the Gemini mind is like chasing raindrops, right? All over the place as far as information. Well, the Cancer's all over the place with emotion.
Interesting.
So what you have to do primarily is allow them to process that feeling, go through that emotion, and protect them in that. The Cancer protects, so protect them. Get them comfortable in the realm of their natural state. And natural meaning they will change, so it's still natural because it's not a one line. It's an emotional shift. And embrace it.
Yeah.
For instance, I'm gonna give you an example. Like you know what? I know you're having a Cancer moment right now, and I know you're gonna have a lot of Cancer moments right now. And I'm just gonna walk you through all of them. And don't worry about it.
I don't think that's a good idea to even mention that they're having a Cancerian moment.
Context. I appreciate the fact that you're having this moment.
Okay, there you go.
Because guess what, Mom? It's gonna be a full moon today. It's gonna be a half moon in a couple of weeks, and I still go outside, right? Okay, so.
Well, thank you for getting me.
There you go.
Polar opposite, Capricorn.
Now you're dealing with the logic and the basic and the common sense principality. Emotion goes to the side. I'm dealing with the essence of the physical realm on an earthly plane. So you got to remember something that people don't talk about in astrology too much. Earth signs are particularly more dominant on this plane.
Yeah?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's why Earth signs are very successful.
Yeah.
Virgos,
Yeah.
Capricorns.
Yes.
You know, they tend to be Tauruses because this is their realm.
Correct.
You know, like I was saying before, we all Earth signs. We're definitely all Capricorns to a degree because we on this plane right now. Now, when we pass and we go back to the source of energy, we may be more powerful on another plane. So, water signs and earth signs are very powerful on this plane because we're dealing with water and we're dealing with earth, which happens to which makes up the planet itself. Other elements make up the planet too, but predominantly earth and water have a lot to say. Fire, it's hard for fire to defeat water on an earthly plane, but fire can kick water's ass in space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's who has the advantage, even in boxing or taekwondo or martial arts. It's the style of the fight that can determine the winner. Not necessarily the two people that are fighting. It's the style of the fight. But I don't want to tangent. I can go on forever with this. So back to Capricorn. We're dealing with that concrete, you know, that Saturn energy, where you're dealing with the goat. You're dealing with, you know, logic. But logic, where it's tangible logic, not like the Aquarius logic. Logic where it's like, okay, well, you know what? If you ever notice all right, I'm gonna give you an example. You ever notice, no matter, you can not be great in math, right? But you can understand a $5 bill, $2 bill, $1 bill, 50 cent, because it's made understandable. It's kind of like concrete. It's not it's not too far fetched. That's Capricorn. It's simple. You do this, you get that, and I mean, I don't want to say this without being offensive, but
It's the shadow side.
No, I'm chill.
Excuse me. We're talking about shadow side. Let's give them information on a Capricorn, so that they can expect whether they should go ahead with the relationship or not. Because I'm going to say my piece. Say it. Say it.
Nah. I'll say this part. With Capricorns, just they do have a sense of control with them. But even in their ability to master controlling the earthly plane, there's a coldness to them. Remember that ring and Saturn is ice.
Yeah.
There's a coldness to Saturn. Because you need a little bit more emotion. Now, I particularly, as the man that I am, I don't think emotion should be used to be predominantly any type of energy, but it's necessary to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And Capricorn sometimes can lack it.
Well, let me say my piece. I love me some Capricorn because when it comes to business and making money and making sure, like you said, their ducks are in order, I'm like, yes, I want you. But like you said, that's a very earthly energy. But Capricorn being the oldest earth sign, there is something about, and I do have something shadowy to say about Capricorn. And it does have to deal with the lack of emotions because they're in it to win it. And they're in it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And if they're not part of the equation, they don't want to have anything to do with it. If it's not going to benefit them, they're like very snooty, I even want to say, correct?
They're regal.
Yeah.
They're more like, especially the Capricorn, it's like royalty.
Yeah.
Even though we're talking about the Leo being royal, the Leo royalty is different than the Capricorn royalty. Mm-hmm. Because Leo is I am the king.
Yeah.
And Capricorn is you better do what the king says the way the king wants. Mm-hmm. The Capricorn is not really concerned with the praise of being the king, as the Leo is. Mm-hmm. The Capricorn is concerned with I want to be able to control this environment, and being the king, getting to being the king, helps me do so.
Yeah. Well, let's go into Leo now. Regal, or royalty, like you were saying, definitely belongs to Leo.
Shout out to Leo. Yeah. Shout out to Leo. Let me tell you something about this. Shout out to, let me cut you my bad.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Leo.
This is the shadow side, by the way.
I'm a Leo rising, but I love Leo people, man. I can't get enough of them. I understand you. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like Simba said, I can't wait to be king. Mm-hmm. You can't knock it. But people always get on Leos for being like self-absorbed or whatever the case may be. But Leos can be they're loyal though. Mm-hmm. They're loyal when they feel that they've been praised enough. They require a lot though. And sometimes certain signs don't have it in them to give them that though. Not every sign have the energy to be kissing your ass all the time.
Yeah, Leos. Leos just don't have the energy to be kissing your ass all the time.
I know. It takes a lot. But I for some odd reason, I can relate to that. Like I feel like, why not?
Well, they're represented by the lion, king of the jungle.
Right.
The lioness, what I have to say about Leos when it comes to their shadowy side is their bias. They have this very biased energy to them sometimes. And it doesn't matter, it could be biased with gender, class, even the color of your skin. They can be very petty that way. I feel, right?
But I think you're looking for the word shallow.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, shallow.
Like you're beneath me, kind of. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like if I'm seen with you, it's because you make me look good, or I'm seen with you because I make you look better.
What?
That's Leo energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the sun is going to do what it needs to do. It's going to shine, baby. You know?
Aquarius.
The Aquarius is spacey. You know, it's higher level of information and knowledge.
If you had to say Aquarius.
And Leo.
No.
Being the opposites.
As far as their shadow side inside a relationship.
Inside their relationship, it could be a little weird because the Aquarius is self-absorbed with themselves as far as their mind and how it works for them. And they're not going to give the Leo that type of praise. You know what gives Libra a lot of, give Leo a lot of praise? Libras.
Yeah.
Aquarius doesn't do that.
Does Taurus, because both Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. I'm wondering if Taurus is in there or not.
Taurus and Leo, could work. But there has to be a liaison. And that liaison has to be something to do with possessions. Leo and Taurus like nice things. So if they have a middle ground, let's say they have a desire to get a house or a business, there has to be a liaison for that energy to connect. If that no longer exists, then they have to deal with each other, not the medium. And that might be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So incompatibility with Aquarius. What sign would you say?
Cancer.
Really?
Yeah. I would also say probably Taurus. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because remember, up and down. You know, groundedness versus airhead. Not airhead in the sense of airhead in the sense of living
always
your mind,
in their minds.
in your
Yeah.
mind. You know.
Their life is in their mind. Yeah.
Right.
If I had to say anything, any shadow aspects of Aquarius, they're so detached from their emotions, and that's very cliche because a lot of people would say that, but it's pretty strong. You had mentioned Capricorn being that way, but after Capricorn comes Aquarius. Who do you think is more detached when it comes to their emotions, Capricorn or Aquarius?
It all depends on the context of detachment.
Inside a relationship, for example.
Aquarius.
Okay.
Capricorn is in mind having a family, a core family.
Okay.
But Aquarius, and if the Aquarius does attach to you, they will be somewhat obsessive. You know, people talk about Leo being a stalker. Aquarius have a stalker vibe to them too.
Well, it starts with Leo and it culminates, I feel, in Aquarius.
Yeah, and they will stalk your page, and they'll do it with intelligence. They'll find a way to get your password, and because remember, Aquarius is fixed air. So I have intellectually decided to attach myself to you, and I'm going to convince myself and stay there. You're supposed to be for me. That's a lot to deal with them. You know.
Yeah. Virgos.
Shit.
y'all witches and magicians and wizards, okay? You want to hide that and don't make people believe you're just, good things just happen for you. No, it does not. Okay, you know what to do. You know how to manipulate power, energy. Virgos.
Definitely so. The Virgo is they sell you the practicality and the consistency of the Capricorn, but underneath it all, they're freaks, crooks, whores, but classy though.
Yeah.
Never
the classy
never
way.
slutty. Classy. You know? Because the earth sign all about reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention that before. You do a Capricorn, Virgo, towards reputation is important. You know, aesthetics, perception. You know, that matters to them. So the Virgo will be clean cut. You know.
Yeah.
When you look at the energy of white collar crimes, that's Virgo shit. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's embezzlement and fraud and tax evasion.
Paying the judge underneath the table.
Right. That's the Virgo. That's the Virgo energy.
Yeah.
So, but they pull from the polarity of Pisces. So Pisces is the mutable water. You know, mysterious, mystical. You know, there's many of us. You know, in one body, mutable. Remember,
Yeah.
mutable always means more. Mutation is the original. It's like the original. Whenever you do something that's mutated, it's always gonna be. Remember, like the Matrix, and those dudes that kept being more and more and more.
Yes.
That's
They would
mutation.
duplicate, yeah.
Right. So you know, we always talk about oh, Gemini, two people.
No.
They're not the only ones. Their mutation is different. See,
Yeah.
the Virgo is mutable too. Its ability, mutation it means the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
When you have a mutation in your body, a cancer mutation, what does it do? It adapts to the organs and then it starts to spread. The same thing with other signs. So the Virgo, they're like, oh, hey, no, they love you to do. So, you know, they're good people with some devious ass ways. You know what I'm saying? And their self-righteousness makes them believe that it's perfect. They need to sell perfection.
So inside a relationship, let's go back to their shadow side, because people probably would be more interested in knowing.
Right. Pisces.
Well, Virgo and Pisces, yes, the whore side,
Right.
the whore side of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Why is that?
because
And I say whore, but I don't know what other word to say. But I'm not calling anyone out by outside of their name. It's just it's just a logistic or point of reference. I just want to get to.
Well, because the Pisces deals with the selflessness, so you can have me, you can have all of me. Whore is not necessarily limited to sexuality. Whore is giving of oneself freely. And Virgo meaning not necessarily meaning a virgin. Virgo means not married. I mentioned before we did the So it's the energy of free. But the Virgo wants to be free. The Virgo wants to have a wedding ring for image, where the Pisces just wants to be cared about and loved so they can give love. Or don't want you to love them so they can give more of themselves without necessarily, not necessarily the energy of commitment. It's different with them. Pisces is the one sign that it takes a lot to study.
Yeah.
Because when you study the Pisces, you study all your other 11 signs as well.
Yeah.
So when they come together as sun sign relationships, the reason why but they're probably one of the few signs, I think Taurus and Scorpio are also the exceptions, where the opposite can actually work out easy. Because remember, you deal with Pisces and Virgo are mutable. You know.
For me, Pisces, the shadowy side of Pisces can be indulging in drugs and alcohol. And if it's not drugs and alcohol, it's something. It's something that you guys get addicted to. And either the partner is involved, and if the partner doesn't want to be involved, you're in your own world. And that's it. You leave your partner behind because they don't share the same addiction. Is that a proper word to say, addiction?
Yeah, but you know, but you need, the Pisces just need to know that they're protected. You know, Pisces do good with Scorpios too, but as far as
escapism, that's the word. Something that escapes, because it could be addiction, but it doesn't have to be addiction. It's functional addicts out there, but escapism is a big word for Pisces.
Right, because once again, you know, mutation and emotion. It was water too. So it's some water, and that's why they think Pisces is sneaky. Virgo's sneaky too, though.
Yeah.
They get along with each other. It could work.
Yeah. What's another good sign for Pisces?
I would say Cancer, Scorpio. Libra wouldn't be bad. Libra could work. But Libra would work. But I would prefer if the man was a Libra. Because it's a woman being a Libra, and a man was Pisces.
That makes sense. Yeah.
What else would work? Aquarius could work too, though.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah. They're both dreamers.
Right. Taurus could work, definitely.
Taurus, really? Oh yeah. I could see that. But remind me again, why Taurus and Pisces?
Because Taurus knows how to take control without being too hard, and Taurus are self-absorbed, and Pisces likes to absorb. So the selfishness of Pisces play into it.
Interesting. Yeah.
And sexually, they're very compatible.
All right. Well, that is all 12 zodiac signs.
That's already?
Yeah.
Damn.
For shadow sides. Remember, this is the shadow side inside a relationship. It doesn't matter what type of relationship. Yeah.
I didn't even know we was doing shadow signs.
Yeah. That's okay.
I didn't even prep for this.
No, you did not.
You fooled me.
I know. What's my shadow side? Which one is this one? Aquarius.
Hades, man.
Scorpio.
Underground. I'm thinking, I'm coming over here, you know, whatever, man.
Whatever. Anyway, we did a video.
I wasn't even prepared. You know what it is? I tell her I don't write nothing down, right? I think she didn't believe me. She tried to stump me just now.
Yeah, no, I love this. You know, Riley and I will still come up with more videos as far as astrology, compatibility and incompatibility. We wanted to start with the shadow side because there was a request from one of our viewers. So, and I thought that would be great to start with astrology and relationships, you know, at the same time.
Right.
So just follow Riley and I, TikTok. We have TikTok, we have Instagram. All that information will be in the page, all right?
And don't forget YouTube. Riley and Leonora.
Yes, Riley and Leonora. And all that, all our information as far as TikTok, Instagram, and our emails, any contact, you know, you're more than welcome to contact us. if you don't want to join our Patreon page. But just so you know, we will do a Patreon. We are doing a Patreon page. This is part of our Patreon page. We'll start the videos on YouTube, but the extended videos, like I said earlier, will be on Patreon. Okay, so for $11.11 a month, you could join us and see our informational extended videos. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.